Hello, Caroline here. This time we will tell you about the news of the preseason test, which was held at the Portimao circuit. In this test series, several riders were seen using their newest motorbike manufacturer in accordance with the contract they signed for the 2024 season. Marq Marquez was seen using Ducati Panigale motorbike with his younger brother Alex Marquez. And we can also see that the Ducati motorbike ridden by Marq Marquez also uses the official livery of the Gresini Team, because this team has launched the Desmosedici motorbike that they will use in the 2024 season. In this test, there was also a red flag drama, because there was a quite serious incident that happened to Franco Morbidelli. At turn 9 Portimao, Franco Morbidelli experienced a serious crash, and the test had to be stopped by raising the red flag by the marshal. When the crash occurred, there were several riders who were still doing it. The test round at the circuit included Marq Marquez, Alex Marquez, and the VR46 team duo, namely Marco Bezzecchi and Fabio Di Gianantonio. Franco Morbidelli is a veteran of the VR46 Academy and has been using a Yamaha motorbike for the last 5 years. A motorbike that still uses an inline for engine configuration. And in 2020, Morbidelli signed a contract to defend the Ducati Pramac team using the newest motorbike used by Ducati in next season. Franky will use the same Desmo GP2 for motorbike with the one that will be used by his teammate Jorge Martin, and also the motorbike used by Pecco Bagnaia and Enea Bastianini. This means that Morbidelli has experienced a very far leap. In 2024, Morbidelli will have to adapt to using the V4 engine from the Ducati Desmosedici GP24. If we look at the preseason test, which was carried out by Ducati Lenovo at the Valencia circuit, Ducati didn't make too many changes to its motorbike. But we don't know yet whether Ducati will make major changes to the engine and aero at the Sepang Malaysia preseason test. Looking at this data, we can understand that Morbidelli needs to adapt a lot to the V4 engine. But in the Portimao test, Morbidelli experienced quite a terrible crash. When testing using the Panigale V4S, I hope he is fine. Quoting from the crash site, Morbidelli is reportedly in pretty good condition after a physical test at the Faro Hospital, although Franky has to stay overnight at the hospital for prevention and safety purposes. Interestingly, when Morbidelli crashed, he was assisted by Marq Marquez, and Alex Marquez returned to the pit to get first aid. If we look at this incident, it is in stark contrast to what happened last season, when Franky looked very unhappy when he was followed by Marq Marquez. In the free practice session at the Valencia circuit, Franky looked unhappy with the gesture he showed to Marq, and after that Marq revealed to several of his friends and to the media that Franky treated him like a dog who was deliberately tempted to follow Franky. But this is MotoGP. Not everything is bad outside the racetrack. It can be seen from yesterday's incident in Portimao that the Marquez brothers helped Franky to return to the pit to get help. During the training session in Portimao, Marq Marquez and Alex Marquez's motorbikes were not equipped with transponders, so their practice time on the track was not publicly recorded. This is the first time Marq Marquez has used a road motorbike from the Ducati manufacturer. According to several moto observers, Marq Marquez's choice to keep his time a secret was a very smart choice, because with this choice his rivals could not see Marq Marquez's progress and development on Ducati. If we look at the official preseason test, which will be held at the Valencia circuit in 2023, shows that Marq can immediately go fast after just a few laps using the 2023 Desmo motorbike. Marq Marquez's rivals in 2024 seemed to be starting to be afraid of seeing Marq's very fast progress over Ducati. That's the reason why he hit his test time in Portimao on Tuesday, likewise. What Alex Marquez did, we know that Alex first used Ducati before his older brother decided to switch manufacturers. Alex will probably share his experiences at Ducati more often with his younger brother because they also live in the same house. So there was a lot of time for them to chat together about the 2024 Moto Championship. Apart from being an active MotoGP rider, at yesterday's Portimao test, Valentino Rossi was also seen riding a Yamaha R1M MotoGP with his signature GYTR livery. This is a very unique sight because on the same track and on the same day, Marq Marquez, who incidentally was his biggest rival during his career in MotoGP, was on the same track. And on the same day, we know that Valentino Rossi has indeed retired from MotoGP. But we see that Rossi's figure is still very attached to Moto. We can also see the seriousness with which he manages the team he has in MotoGP, namely the Enduro VR46 racing team. Perhaps in yesterday's test, apart from Rossi being a brand Yamaha ambassador, Rossi will also provide important input for the riders on his team, namely Marco Bezzecchi and Fabio Di Gia. The test saw Rossi record a public time using a Yamaha R1. He recorded the 30th fastest time on Monday with a best lap time of 1:40 for 2,703, compared to 1:39 to 913 recorded by Nicolo Baliga at the top of the time list. Meanwhile, VR46 racer Bezzecchi posted a time of 1:43, 622, and Di Giannantonio's time was 1 minute 43 seconds and 740 milliseconds. At yesterday's Portimao test, Rossi was 44 years old and was still very fast on the Yamaha motorbike he was riding. He rode a Yamaha R1 in Monday's session in Portimao. Yesterday's Portimao test was organized by Ducati, but instead we saw Rossi using a Yamaha and taking part in the event. How cool he is! But behind all that, Rossi must immediately make a decision regarding the MotoGP team contract he has because in 2024, Valentino Rossi's team contract with Ducati will end. Will he move his team to Yamaha and become the only satellite team owned by Yamaha? Is it the other way around? The Enduro 46 racing team will extend its contract with Ducati. It is also publicly known that Rossi is an icon and brand ambassador for Yamaha, but he actually has a MotoGP team at the Ducati manufacturer. This is a bit confusing. If we look at Rossi's history with Yamaha, it can be said to be very romantic. Starting from his move from Honda to Yamaha, until he decided to retire from the MotoGP event. He still rode a Yamaha until the end of his career. Rumors in the book indeed say that it is very likely that Rossi has been persuaded by Yamaha to use their motorbike as a weapon for his team to compete for title. But Rossi said that he still wanted a motorbike that was competitive in the championship. And we know Yamaha's current condition. Its motorbikes are not very competitive, and the Yamaha team always has internal problems. That's the news we can convey about MotoGP. Hopefully it's useful, and thank you for watching.